As I've mentioned in the prior two tutorials on newsfeed, activity feed, you are able to just simply link to your content in the activity feed or newsfeed into your Google Drive or your OneDrive. So you don't need to actually upload your content into D2L. You can use this as a messaging system and utilize these two icons to share whatever material you would like. But for those of you that do want to upload to the digital binder and utilize that space for the storage, this is what you would do. And it's mainly for if you want to create some sort of lesson flow that is a little more formal within the system. So the way that I tend to do it is I'll create my unit here, and then I'll create a series of lessons that have materials in them, whether it's a PowerPoint, a handout, and possibly a video piece of content. That is how I organize my material, but there's a myriad of ways you can do it. But you would just start by creating a new unit. So I'll start simply by just calling one sample unit. And that starts as, and you need to, there's a little eyeball here, click it so that students will be able to access it. You hit save, and now you have this unit, and you are able to drag that around to move it. So if you wanted to move it to the top, you could. Sorry, I'm just having a little trouble because I'm recording at the same time. And so if I want to add material now, think of this as a folder system. I click add. This might be a new lesson folder I want. So I could simply start with documents and say I'm dragging a material from my Google Drive and bring it in. Or I could create a folder where I'm bringing material. So let's say this is a specific lesson. Create that folder again. I need to activate it, hit save. And now I can bring in all of my material. So maybe in that unit, I have something from Google that's in a folder that I'll bring in. It could be from different, and why we do this likely utilize the D2L tools if we have material from a couple different places. So I'll just use a series of docs right now just to fill. There's no real flow to this about why I would put these docs in, but I'm just going to give you an example. So let's say I had a video piece that I wanted to add in, so I could click add, and let's say I would just add my web link for my video, and that would bring it in. If I had a quiz that I wanted them to do at the end, I would utilize that tool, and that's typically what I do in a module. Is I'll bring a series of different content together, and then I'll have a quiz at the end, which I might have them answer, or a discussion at the end, or I might have them submit something. So that's why I use that modular approach of the D2L content tool. But again, you would just go to digital binder. You would go into your folder tool. And so I'm going to use my sample unit that I created. And I created a lesson. I can create another lesson by clicking add, which would then be maybe lesson 2, where I would then, again, I need to activate this, hit save. And at that point, I can bring in new material, again, from OneDrive maybe, Google Drive, something that they may be reading, then a video that they might be watching, and then maybe, again, a submission area or a discussion task. So it's totally up to the way that you'd like to do it. But personally, I like to utilize the digital binder tool, but many just like to use it direct into their Google Drive or their O365 drive.